time for an update. Hey everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to my channel, and I hope you can hear me okay because my microphone died, and also my heater may pop on yet again. If it does, I will take a break and come back to this later. But I wanted to pop in here and give you guys an update because it has been a little while since I posted my last video talking about leaving Booktube, and I think it's only fair for those of you who did comment and express your either concerns or, just kind of letting me know what you think to give you an update. So, first of all, thank you to everyone who did comment on the last video. To be honest, I got more views and more comments on the last video than I've gotten in 6 months, which is equally impressive and also kind of sad because, it was kind of a difficult video. But I am grateful to everyone who did comment. I found out that, I'm not the only person going through this at all. I'm not. This is a common thing in Booktube. But also, it was a good reminder to me because I know a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this too, we watch channels, but we don't always interact. Like, I might give you a thumbs up, or I might watch it and then, okay, I watched it, and I go on my way. But I need to be more cognizant of commenting and leaving you a thumbs up or a smiley face or a heart or something to let you know that I was there, because I think it can get very lonely on Booktube and you don't realize people are there unless they tell you they're there, right? So I think for me going forward, I want to watch your video, and even if I'm not leaving a full-blown comment, I will at least leave you a thumbs up or something so that you at least know someone actually saw what you put out, because I realize I'm guilty of that as well. So it was a good reminder, and thank you to everyone who did comment. So I spent 3 weeks away, which does not seem like a very long time, but for me it was, because you have to figure I was putting out 2 to 3 videos per week, which is a lot of work. And to have 3 weeks where I didn't have to put out any videos was actually super relaxing, and I really enjoyed it. So I basically spent most of that 3 weeks just not even caring about YouTube. I didn't even bother with it. I focused on writing, and I released my first Kindle Vella novel at the beginning of March. And believe it or not, actually it was the beginning of February, sorry. And in March, I received notice that I actually made money off my writing, which, if you follow me on my author TikTok, was a huge moment for me because I have never in my life made legit money. Even with all the self-publishing I did in the past, I made $5 here, $5 there, but never enough royalties off of anything I've done to do anything with the money that I got. So I got enough money off of my Kindle Vella novel to get a tank of gas. Well, with gas prices, it might be more like a half a tank of gas. But I got gas money, legit gas money, from my Kindle Vella royalties. So I felt like a legit author. Also, my sister and I are in the process of hopefully getting a publishing deal for a book that we're doing that's totally not romance related, but we're very excited about that as well. And I obviously can't tell you anything because nothing's concrete yet, but we're working on I'm working on writing, and it felt really good to focus on that and not on creating content. The second thing is that I read for fun. And for a long time there, reading was starting to feel like a chore because I felt like I'm reading to hit numbers. I'm reading to hit certain genres. I'm reading what's popular. And for the last 3 weeks, I didn't care about any of that. I took my time reading. I read at my own pace. If I took all week to read a book, nobody cared. If I had days where I didn't feel like reading at all, nobody cared, because I didn't have to read to create content, right? I just read because I wanted to read. I think for the entire month of March, I read maybe 8 or 9 books, and they were all books that I really wanted to read. And I read a variety that I don't usually read. I read Christian romance and all kinds of stuff that I typically don't read because it didn't matter. I wasn't making a video on it. Just read what you want to read. And it was a good reminder to me that I was allowing this to just dictate everything about my reading, to the point where reading really wasn't fun anymore. It was a chore. So I really enjoyed this break. And the last 2 or 3 books I read, I really enjoyed reading them. It was like back in the day when nobody cared about Booktube, and I just read because I loved reading, and it felt so good to love reading again. So I do think that this break was much needed, and it was a very big eye-opener to me. So, big question y'all are wondering, am I going to continue Booktube? I go back and forth on my answer every day, to be honest with you. I think I will continue Booktube, but it's not going to look like what it was before, because I began to fall out of love with reading over creating content. And that's not what I want to do. I want to release videos when I want to release videos. Like, I'm not going to be on this 2 to 3 videos per week and tags and all these things. When I first started Booktube, what I envisioned was book reviews. Like, this is the book I read. Let's talk about this book in detail and tell you what I thought. Or, you know, doing the wrap-ups. That's kind of what I envisioned. But when you actually get into Booktube and you start making content, what you find out is that those videos don't get views. They don't get views. Book review videos don't do well. Unless it's a super popular book that's like all the rage. It's not going to get good views. It just doesn't. And it's not just me saying this. It's like tons of other people in Booktube I've heard say this as well. They don't do in-depth book review videos because no one really watches them. But that's what I wanted to do. And I quit doing it. Instead, I would look for topics like your favorite romance tropes or certain tags that were popular, because I knew those would get views. But then I didn't enjoy making the content, or I was reading books to fit that video, but wasn't really books I wanted to read. And I realized, you know what, that's really stupid. That's really stupid. And I think that when I release videos, number one, it's going to be no rhyme or reason to it. It's going to be when I'll do a monthly wrap up, but it's just going to be what I feel like talking about. So basically, if I read a book that I think is fabulous, like fantabulous, and I just can't wait to tell you all about it, I'll record a video on it and I'll post it. But the one thing you can always depend on is a monthly wrap up. And whatever else I post is just going to be willy-nilly what I feel like doing, because I just don't like the rigidity of the 2 to 3 videos a week. It sucked the fun out of reading. It sucked the fun out of even wanting to read. And it's not worth it. Not worth it. So am I leaving completely? No. I might try to do like 1 video a week. But again, I want it to be fun. I want to enjoy what I'm putting out here. And that is my goal. So that's the plan for the future. Where you can find more frequent content from me is going to be my author TikTok, which I have linked below. My author pen name is M.E. Lavern, and you can find me on TikTok. I post there quite a bit. I'm there almost every day, honestly. It's mostly writing content, but I'm going to include some book talk content as well. I have a personal TikTok, but I don't post on there as often. I mostly am on my author TikTok, so that's where you can find me more frequently. And here will just be book reviews and book wrap-ups, pretty much. One thing I will say is that I want everyone to still continue to support the Booktube community. I'm not the only person dealing with this. There was actually a really great discussion video that Hia Booktubes uploaded maybe like a week or so back, might have been longer than a week, where she had several other content creators, and they talked about elitism in the Booktube community and how there's a lot of, you know, certain expectations for content creators and just all the issues that were kind of going on. It was like an 1.5 hour long video, so it was a really long video. They talked about a lot of really good topics. And one particular section of that video talked about sort of how there's this nice little box that people who get good views on Booktube fit into. And usually, I mean, not to be too specific here, but it's usually like young, white, thin, pretty girls who do well on Booktube. And if you don't fit into that box, then you usually don't do as well, or there's other expectations of you because you don't fit into that box. Especially if you happen to be like somebody who is way off that checklist, right? Like if you happen to be like a black gay male, you don't do as well on Booktube. You just don't, because you don't fit into the box. And so it was a good reminder to me that I'm not the only person dealing with this, and there are actually people who are doing much worse than me or having a much harder time than me on here. So it was a reminder to me that we really, really need to be more supportive to each other. I mean, even if, you know, I'm not telling you have to watch people just to watch them, because I really think you should watch the creators that you enjoy their content. Duh, that makes sense. But at the same time, I think that if you are following these people, You know, again, I'm saying this to myself. We need to comment. We need to chat. We need to interact with them in a way that makes them want to stay involved in the community, so that we aren't just leaving people out on this ledge by themselves, feeling like they're all alone when they're really not. So I would like to see Booktube become more inclusive, but it's going to sound really like negative here, but it's society. Let's be honest. This is not just a Booktube issue. This is a world issue, specifically a United States issue. But I'm not going to get into politics and all that. I'm just saying this is something we all deal with. And I think that if we really want to have an inclusive and friendly Booktube community, that we need to support each other. So if you like books and you like reading and you have people you follow on Booktube, interact with them. Let them know you're here so that they feel welcome. I think that the one thing, the common denominator in all of Booktube is we love books. And that should be enough, right? That should be enough. All right. This was rambly. This was not a planned video, as you can tell. But thank you again for all the commenting. And I don't know when I'll be back. I'll be back eventually. I might do a March wrap-up. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what the future brings. And hope you all have a good week.